Sky News has released a new series called Death of the Larrikin, and
Yeah,
it's a series focusing on how political correctness has destroyed Australian comedy.
yeah, I've
Have you
seen
seen
that.
much about this?
Yeah, it's stuff about like you can't be a larrikin anymore, but like you can't be like a sort of the larrikin idea is dead now, like having a cheeky laugh.
Mm.
But I mean, I've always thought with larrikin, there's a fine line between being a larrikin and being a murderer.
Yeah, I feel like who was the guy who uh yeah, the backpacker murders?
Yeah, he was a larrikin.
That's kind of like it's not like there's a larrikindness to the guy from Wolf Creek who was
Yeah,
based
he's a
on what's the
classic.
guy's name who he's based on?
Mick
Malat.
Fanning or something.
No, Malat. Ivan Malat.
Oh, Ivan Milat. Yeah, Ivan Milat. Yeah.
Even say, oh, what's Malat up to? Oh, I don't know, going for a drive with some new friends. Like it sounds like something larrikin. Like Wolf Creek guy had a bit of larrikin about him. Need help with your car? I'm an Aussie
Yeah,
larrikin. He had all jokes and stuff.
yeah, he had all the jokes of a larrikin. He also like, he'd be at the pub with his friends having a laugh,
Yeah,
few beers,
yeah.
like in one of those outback pubs, like just. And that guy would be a larrikin, technically.
Yeah, he's an Aussie larrikin, and yeah, there's the Aussie larrikin isn't far off a bigot either.
Far off a what?
A bigot, like just a racist.
Well, like a larrikin it has to be white, I think.
I think they're missing the point. A larrikin has to be white. Yeah, yeah. There is an assumption. You don't call an Aboriginal comic a larrikin
Yeah, yeah. It's racial in
or a
nature.
woman.
Yeah,
She's a
it means
larrikin.
like
I think that's an interesting point that there is an inherent
you're a white. It means you're a
white
white guy that
racial
likes
gender.
them and may have killed someone. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
it's pretty
it's
specific.
it's a white man who's probably an alcoholic and has potential to, like, you wouldn't be shocked if he buried a body somewhere.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a beer with a larrikin because I'd be worried about what would happen.
Well, I've had beers
Like
with larrikins, and
yeah,
and some of them, like one in particular, has gone to prison and has been to court for being such a
larrikin.
larrikin that he left violent messages on his girlfriend's answering machine, like on his
Yeah,
girlfriend's messages, voice messages.
yeah. So he got done for 4 counts of larrikinism.
Yeah,
It really is the
judge
death of a
went.
larrikin.
The judge went, uh, 4 counts of bloody being a larrikin right here. Yeah, and also you have got life imprisonment for the rape and murder. But
But it was pretty funny, but yeah, the other like it's weird as well because like a larrikin is uh like they uh, like Australia's not like designed for larrikins really. Like in terms of it's a place that loves bureaucracy so much that it's crazy that they're like the death of a larrikin when the bureaucracy is just, you know what I mean? It's like don't drink a beer outside, you'll be fined and stuff.
yeah, it's so true. I think that they hate that though. That's part of it, I think. Because, they're like death of the larrikin. What they're really saying is Australia is too politically correct and there's too much bureaucracy and too many rules and regulations and, you know,
Yeah,
like that's in the same ballpark. Like a larrikin can't drink piss, take his clothes off and run down the street and then shit in the gutter anymore because the bloody PC police. It's a bit like
now,
that.
yeah,
I think there's a part of it that's sort of like, why can't we get drunk and drive our car into a building anymore? A little bit, and just
yeah. It's
and
like
just write it off as a bit of a laugh.
Yeah, now it's like you'll be charged and imprisoned, and that is the death of the larrikin they're referring to, I think.
The Aussie bloke, white bloke, who wouldn't care what other people thought, and would say something dangerous and often murder, and
Yeah,
and commit criminal and be a criminal.
yeah. Like I feel like in every Australian film, there's a larrikin
Mm.
that is a murderer. You know what I mean? Like two
Yeah,
hands,
yeah,
like that kind of like Shuey, right? Like it's always a kind of funny Paul Hogan-esque
murderer.
type jocular murderer. Like that's not a knife. This is a knife in your guts because I fucking killed you, you dog.
Or, or
Yeah.
or in Two Hands, where it's like, Shoddy, yeah, Shoddy's a good mate. You know that really famous line?
Oh, like shotguns.
Yeah, that's in Two
Yeah.
Hands. Really famous
Yeah.
Australian movie. Where he's a larrikin. Yeah, Shoddy's a good mate.
It's a way of making murder likable.
Yeah,
Kind of.
Aussie Larrikin
Yeah.
is a rapist and is a white male rapist murderer who is able to turn a life of crime, into a cheeky slight.
Yeah, that's a good description.
Yeah, I think we should talk on that Sky News thing and say, they always cut to the interview in the documentary series, and I would be like, an Aussie Larrikin is an Aussie white bloke who is a rapist and a murderer, but he loves to put a little bit of a spin and a yarn on it that makes you love him anyway.
So he puts such a spin and yarn and such a spin and yarn on his um, crimes that the police reluctantly arrest him.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? They're like, sorry, I mean, we just have to do it. But, if it was up to me, I'd let you run loose.
you can't keep stringing those naked bodies up in the forest, Steve. Why? Bloody. Yeah, you reckon that someone might bump into him and see someone's dick or something, mate. See one of the naked bodies' dicks or something. Oh, Steve, you're a fucking larrikin, mate, but you've killed 35 people and they're buried in shallow graves. We're going to have to get rid of you. You have to
And
put you away.
and it's a shame that it has to be me, but
Chopper.
yeah,
Chopper
Chopper.
is the Aussie larrikin. He cut
That's
his
the
own
thing. Yeah,
ears off. He killed people. He was a criminal and lived most of his life in jail and was a dangerous murderer, drug addict.
yeah, and but still widely celebrated and probably one of Australia's best comedians.
He was actually really good, and and Aussie blokes from the Larrikin era loved him. My dad loved him.
Yeah, like he was given, he'd be given good treatment in prison and stuff.
Ned Kelly, like these are the kinds of characters that generation loved. Your average fucking white criminal.
And he killed police, and they still love him. You know what I mean? Like,
Killing police is the ultimate Larrikin move.
ironically, yeah, considering everything that's happening. But yeah, like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you'd expect them to be on the side of the police in a weird way. Like,
Yeah, now at the moment they'd probably swing around and go, yeah, come on, give the police a break. But back in the day, killing police would have been a bit of a joke, have a bit of a laugh.
pretty funny stuff
Mm.
to take a musket to an officer's head. Yeah, like yeah, it's a larrikin. It's a very privileged position to be.
Yeah.
But I guess now you see the decline of larrikinism. Like you can't. It's not as viable
I know what the Sky News sort of right-wing Murdoch kind of press are trying to say, but I think they're maybe missing the point because it's like I don't know if comedy you can't. It's not that you can't say anything anymore. It's that you have to be artful about it and have a good point, and it has to be articulated really well, and it has to be concise and really intelligent.
Yeah,
Whereas
you
I
can't.
think, you know what I mean? Like Bill Burr and Louis C.K. and, um, even like, I don't know, like Amy Schumer or Sarah Silverman, or I know I'm talking about American comics. They're not larrikins, but just for the sake of like what's passable in comedy, what's politically correct. All those guys have said like really full on shit, but it's backed up with irony and sarcasm and intelligence and angles and stuff that allow them. But what they're talking about is larrikinism, where it's just like, why can't I say the N word anymore? Just or
Yeah, it's more like they're talking about, yeah, why can't you say does or whatever, and it be funny anymore? And it's because people, it's become a bit more nuanced, where people won't laugh at that,
yeah, exactly.
like automatically, whereas people would have used to have laughed at it because it was more of a taboo or something, like it was a bit more. I think that's what it is, eh?
Yeah, I think that cultures evolved, and that the shockingness of flat out racism, or in the case of the Aussie Larrikin, murder and rape, just isn't funny anymore on its own.
Yeah, you need a bit more structure around the gags, a bit more nuance.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
If you're going to commit a string of unsolved butcherings in the hinterlands,
Mm.
you're going to need to be a bit more nuanced with your quips. If you want to sustain a career in showbiz. And the other thing is, like, it's weird because the Murdoch angle of, like, they're anti BLM and stuff, but they would, with this death of a larrikin type narrative, they're sort of, the subtext is that they're pro Ned Kelly.
Yeah,
You know, who was a
yeah,
guy that actually killed police officers. So, like, did the reverse.
yeah. It's an interesting point.
And so they're like, yeah, this BLM, it's these protests are looting and stuff. It's like, but Ned Kelly, that's fine. And even though he was killing cops unprovoked for a
Mm.
laugh
He's
and
having a
fun.
laugh.
Well, I think he was just passing time because there was
Hey,
no
buddy.
social media.
I thought this was interesting. I watched an ad yesterday for oat milk, and it was a teddy bear, like an animated 3D animated teddy bear drinking an oat milk. And I forget the exact line before it, but he said something like, "Oh, and it fills me up." And then he takes a drink of it and goes, "Fills me up," and then says, "But anyway, I'm dead on the inside." And I just thought the teddy bear in the ad going, I'm dead on the inside," is like a nihilistic joke, and it's just a sign that nihilism and that kind of like postmodern nihilism is now in the mainstream, like even in a flavored milk ad, where it's like, who
Yeah,
cares? Nothing matters anyway. We're all dead on the inside.
yeah, like nihilistmemes.com, like 4chan memes are finding their way into um, commercial advertising,
Totally, man. Because
which,
that's
like,
like the religion of now, as our society increasingly becomes confusing and more scientific and technological, and more atheism is continually rising, that people just go, nothing's real, the universe is meaningless, we've got everything but everything sucks, and that's why you're going to get like you'll get the happy meal for your kids, and then you'll get the void meal.
so that's just, you get nothing.
You get it's like a black hole, like a some kind of like you open the box to look in and it's just black and it just looks forever into the abyss.
Right. That could be part of the new intermittent fasting menu at McDonald's,
Right.
where you order a nihilist box and it's nothing because you haven't entered your feeding window yet.
Right.
So you go to Macca's and pay $10 for nothing. And they're like, yeah, you haven't entered your feeding window. I see that you're in a state of ketosis. And then you're like, thanks very much.
Put your head into this box and stare into the blackness. There is nothing.
Yeah. I think,
Like that's the ad or whatever.
yeah.
Get your free Happy Meal toy. It's Batman. And then if you're an adult, you can get the void. There's nothing. We're literally in an empty vacuum.
I was born in the darkness. Yeah, that's, remember that guy? Yeah.
I was born into darkness.
Yeah, it takes a while for McDonald's and all these corporations to absorb things like nihilism. Like they're always a bit late.
Always, yeah.
Like, remember that ad for McDonald's where it was like, this is an example of when they absorbed like that meta. They absorbed like a meta approach to their own thing, where they would be like, McDonald's has a sandwich that doesn't cause cancer. How very un-McDonald's.
Yeah. They're always one step behind, like culture. So you get modern culture, which is like, go get a free hamburger. Hamburgers are cheap now and delivered, quick and easy and drive through, and the 80s and stuff, right? Where it was just like, how cool is McDonald's? You drive through a fucking thing and they give you a bag and it's got a burger in it and it tastes good and it's quick. Then you get, and then so their ads reflected that, but then you get the postmodern ads where they're like, the culture's caught up and they're like, McDonald's is actually really bad for you and it's shit because it's fast food. And they go, we're quick and fast and bad for you. Well, apparently, but now we have salads. So what's that about?
Yeah, they're like, this isn't even McDonald's. But it's McDonald's advertising that they're not McDonald's. They're like, that's not.
I remember they had an ad where they had like a guy walking through the factory and he was like, oh, I suppose that this isn't even real meat. And they're like, no, it is. Like, it was like addressing all the, and then in the future, it'll be the nihilist ads.
Well, yeah, there's ads for beer now where they're like, yeah, have a beer. This one's not very good, but it's good enough. It's good enough for the boys. You know what I mean? But it's not even a very good one. When you're not feeling fancy, when you don't want a good experience, have this one. It's pretty all right. You know what I mean?
Because culture's kind of gone, come on, 4X is a shit beer. And then
just admit
there's
it.
a lag. And then the 4X ad is like, yeah, we're a shit beer, but sometimes I just want a shit beer. I don't want to, the voice is like that. I don't want a fancy beer. Sometimes you just want something fucking shit. 4X, because sometimes you want to drink something that tastes like cat piss.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't want a craft beer named the Unicorn in the Cupboard of Drawers.
The best example is like there was advertising and then the woke movement happened, which was like, like how do we speak out for gay rights, against racism, like be woke about culture and words. And then like ads changed to adopt to that as well. Like there was this really revered coffee ad that like, it's just shitty instant coffee. But in the ad, it's a daughter coming out to her dad.
Really?
So it's like, oh, dad, this is my girlfriend. And the dad goes like, oh, that's actually great. I totally support this. And here's a coffee. Here's a freshly ground, smooth South American coffee grounded to perfection.
So that's a good.
Yeah.
You pair the coffee with the coming out experience.
Yeah.
Like they go well together, kind of.
Yeah. The aromas and the this type of coffee comes out. If you're coming out, this is the smooth, rich coffee flavor you'll want.
Not unlike pairing a Shiraz with a Pecorino. Yeah, like
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 the fish goes great with the white wine, and this coffee goes great when you're coming out, or if you're fighting race. It's like the Pepsi ad that was fighting. Remember there's an ad where there's a race ride and then the woman comes over and drinks Pepsi and the cops and the race riders get on?
Yeah, I'd like to see that happen now, you know.
Yeah.
Someone use Pepsi to unify people. Yeah, I don't think it can unify even anyone I know, seeing as they all hate this drink.
Yeah. Well, I think America
Maybe
might be too. I think America might be too far. When there's like far left militant people creating their own six block district defended with AR-15 fully automatic weapons, I wonder if they would stand down and shake hands with the All Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter people would shake hands over a Pepsi, perhaps.
Yeah, I that would be yeah, that ad was egregious, eh?
Mm, that's the
I
pinnacle of
think,
what we're talking about.
speaking of the protests, I think they should airdrop that cop, uh, the murderer into like a protest, like in Jurassic Park, where they airdrop they airdrop that cow into the Velociraptor
Yeah,
pen.
they lower a cow slowly into a velociraptor pen, and the velociraptors tear it apart, and then they wrench it back up, and the cow is gone, and there's nothing left but destroyed like metal and canvas that was torn apart when they ate the cow. So you reckon they should take the dude who killed George Floyd and lower him into like a far left
Protest.
like violent protest and let them tear him apart as punishment?
Just any protest that where they're just have him be ripped apart. I think it would just do something good.
You think
You
that
know,
if
it
they
would.
saw like a violent outburst against him, that might quell people's anger because of his racism was so bad, was so viscerally shocking to watch, that maybe it would calm people if they saw it happen to him, kind of thing.
I think if they airdropped him like a cow into a Velociraptor pen of protesters and he was ripped apart, he could serve as a type of Pepsi in that ad that would lead to unity.
Right. Like everyone's like, I think we've done enough now. We can all go home.
Well,
Now
just
that
it
we've
would, yeah,
seen that.
yeah, it could have, you could have that Pepsi moment, but that's the Pepsi.
His ravaged body.
Is he just gets ravaged.
Like,
Yeah, dun, 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 dun. Yeah, he gets like Colonel Gaddafi.
oh yeah.
Remember how Colonel Gaddafi, they really effed him up, eh?
They beat him to death and dragged his body through the streets.
Why don't they do that with that cop? Like just airdrop him in and just have him ripped apart.
Yeah, I think it goes against the judicial system, but yeah, I don't
Yeah, I
think
guess
it's. I don't, yeah,
there's red tape,
there's red tape.
bureaucracy.
There's bureaucracy. Yeah.
But yeah, Pepsi's not going to unify people.
No.
Like an awful
I think
black company.
I think we're reaching peak farcical and absurd times. Like I thought, I've seen this coming for a long time, but I mean, I don't think we are living in. This is the most farcical time that since we've been alive, in the sense that what's going on in our society is so farcical and ridiculous and absurd and almost cartoon-like, for lack of a better term, but we keep going on pretending like this is normal.
Yeah, I mean that's the, I guess that's what you see with ads as well now. Speaking of ads, where they adapt to the situation, like like the Subway ad where they're like, "We hear you, we see you, we're here for you." Like all the, how all the companies are like, "We're going to
Right.
help you. We're together with you at home, alone, together forever. We love you." You know what I mean? Like this
Yeah.
weird, like it's like a bank just going
But
like,
it means nothing. And it doesn't mean you can go into Subway and go, oh, you're here for us during this tough time. Yeah, I'll just get a foot long. Thanks. That'd really help. Oh,
yeah,
no, you
just
have
give
to
me
pay for it.
a, you said you were here for me, and yeah, there's nothing.
Give
You
me
don't
the
get anything.
fucking sandwich. Give me the
I just
fucking
lost my job.
sandwich.
Yeah, it's just this weird thing, and the ads still act like it's going to be okay. They become this like paternalistic presence of like, it's okay, you can get your car, you'll be able to get in your car again soon. It's all good, but for now, it's like still like it was like I saw a car ad where it's like, buy the car now, you won't be able to use it, but you will be soon. You know that kind of ad?
Yeah, it's so absurd, isn't it? And it's like surreal. We know
Yeah,
that
it's
you're stuck. Yeah, there's lots of ads like, we know you're stuck at home right now. You probably can't bloody get down to the bottle-o. But I tell you what, when you do, we'll still be here. Who
yeah.
are you? What are you? What are you talking about?
Can you give me free shit? If
No,
you're not giving me free shit, you should just fucking die or whatever.
no, it's just like they're just going, keep buying our stuff. We know there's a global pandemic and everyone's dying, but don't forget to come to our store and keep buying shit. Because if the economy fails, we're all going to die.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's just a funny thing to be like, you definitely can't drive now because it's illegal, but you will be in 6 months, and we're going to have cars then as well. And here's what you could be doing soon. Again, we love you. You know, it's just
It's more like the loving part that I find particularly
egregious.
disturbing because it is like that voice, the voice of the corporation going, you know, we love you, we care, we know your family's struggling, we know everything's tough right now, you're stuck at home, bloody hell. You know, we used to be able to get outside and run around. We can't right now, but I tell you what, when you decide to, Commonwealth Bank will be here.
The supply lines are down, and there may not be a future for the world economy, but we'll be around maybe.
You know, the Commonwealth Bank or HSBC was tied to funding terrorism globally and even washing money for drug cartels. We have a horrible record of investing in fossil fuel and a variety of other questionable acts. We are what's wrong. But I tell you what, we know times are tough for you. We'll be here when you come outside.
Come outside and you're real sick, we'll be there for you. Yeah, it's like
We know you're bloody sick at the moment. When's HSBC just gonna, when is this bloody, we know you're bloody, we're here at Amy Insurance. We know you're fucking sick. We know you're sick. We know it's tough. We know it's tough. It's been hard for all of us. But when it all ends, we'll still be here. Give Amy a call. We'll insure your fucking car. It's hard. It's hard out there at the moment.
yeah, it's the
We
big
know
other.
it's hard.
It's just that the dominant corporate structures are losing their shit publicly. They're like, we're KFC are going under, mate. You fucking hell.
The economy's bust. It's all over. It's China now. China's coming. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, it can't. An ad still will not like embody the apocalyptic spirit in the ad. Like, they're fucking coming for us. Run. Fucking my immune system's
These
fucked.
fucking lefties want to destroy capitalism. You won't get a burger anymore. They don't know what they're doing. They won't be able to come in here and get a fucking burger. It's over. You're ruining it all. We're fucked.
Yeah, they're condemned to a perpetually optimistic vibe. Like, we know that the world's on fire, but come and
Yeah, like,
like
if society does collapse into a series of warlords, as we were talking about, you know, and there's diminishing returns with food and water, you know, as we've discussed this before, it's still going to be like, we know that, you know, the air's no longer breathable. You need a gas mask. And Kumba, the new leader of the realm of this sector, has taken control of the land. And he now orders you to sacrifice your firstborn to his regime. But I tell you what, when he's sacrificed your firstborn to the new gods, you can count on us for breakfast. We're still open. McDonald's. You know, it'll always absorb.
yeah, but never. It's never going to have a negative angle on anything. It's all
No.
based on optimism, isn't it?
I do like the idea though of the crying ad where it's like, it is fucking tough. We know it is. It's been hard.
They
It's
should
like,
do that.
what
Rio.
are you? Huh?
Like Rio Tinto should do one like that. Like they're coming against us because we blew up a mine shaft that didn't belong to us. They're saying we're bad, but we're just trying to make money, trying to help investors.
We're just trying to make a bit of money out here. Yeah, like the corporation's going to come clean. Look, we're Rio Tinto. We're just trying to get shareholders a good return. That's all we were trying to do. We didn't know we'd destroy an ancient site.
The CEO is very stressed and depressed. He's fucked. Yeah, it's because they were interesting in that they used all this chaos to blow up an indigenous heritage site.
Yeah, that is that is high level insanity, and sadly that's like fallen back, behind a lot of other distracting shit when that's actually extremely fucking distressing.
That's distressing because they did it thinking that the news cycle was going too fast to notice it.
Yeah, it's
You know what I mean?
Destroying our actual heritage as a race of the human beings. Like they're destroying our original fucking footprint, literally, of our existence, our consciousness.
They would have had a meeting where they were just like, look, I think now is the time to act. We can blow it up this week. No one will know. There's a lot of fuck shit happening, and then use that pocket of time,
Yeah, and then the guy in the meeting goes, "Let's see Paul Allen's card." It's that kind of meeting.
Yeah.
Impressive.
And they have ads too, like, we're Rio Tinto, we're here to help you, and it's crazy.
Yeah. I saw a really interesting ad on the way to Toowoomba that had a billboard that said sleep apnea is making sleep apnea sexy.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's like, something like sleep apnea is now sexy.
Yeah, it is sexy, eh? Like having a like having a machine that you attach to your face, like Darth Vader, that you need to sleep.
Right.
It's up there with Baywatch.
Yeah. How do you yeah. If only Pamela Anderson would have worn a sleep apnea mask.
Excuse me while I attach this $10,000 piece of equipment to my face,
so I don't die during my sleep. How do you make sleep apnea sexy, do you think? Because
I think
the people in the ads are always hot because they can't have the, morbidly obese, dangerously obese people that sometimes have sleep apnea. You couldn't have one of that, like someone like that modeling the equipment, because it'd remind people of what's wrong with them or something,
Well, yeah, it's like, I remember seeing sleep apnea mask ads. I see them around. One of my hobbies is looking for them wherever they might be. And I saw a sleep apnea mask where the guy was like completely ripped with like a six pack, like looked like he was on the cover of Men's Health. And so he's got the mask attached, and I'm like, yeah, there's no way that guy needs it. So like it's as if the sleep apnea mask is the missing X factor in an otherwise perfect life.
Yeah.
Like everything's going well except you need this mask.
Yeah, look how perfect this guy's life is, and now it's complete. He's got a sleep apnea mask.
Yeah, the missing piece in the jigsaw puzzle of his life. Yeah, but I think also like it's like someone who looks like they do CrossFit. The chance of them needing a sleep apnea is just very low,
Yeah, I don't think that he put his hand up to do that ad for free. I think they probably employed him as an actor. I don't think he's like, I really want to. I'm suffering from sleep apnea. I'll do this ad for you to bring attention to it.
Right, like a charitable.
Yeah.
Kind of like when like a footy player does like an ad for the black dog or whatever.
Yeah. No, I don't think it was anything like that. I think they've just gone, we primarily cater for people like Brian Strain, our mate, who's got gout.
Right,
And
like, but yeah, the people that need it, you can't get them to do the ad. It's sort of a paradox, eh?
to be honest with you, Brian Strain could use the acting work. He's
Well,
not.
is getting a photo taken with a contraption on your face considered acting?
Good question.
Or like, is that an act? Because you've got to kind of have the look of relief as the mask comes on.
Yeah, I guess you have. There's an element of acting in the sense that, take our mate Brian Strain, right? We give him a lot of shit, and often I say that he's dead on the inside, and he he agrees with me. So everyone relax out there. I'm not ripping on the guy. He rips me back as well. He says I've got a shit-eating grin. But I say that he's dead on the inside, and he says, "Yeah, I'm drinking myself to death slowly." And I was like, "Cool, whatever." These are the kind of conversations we have. But if he put the mask on for the ad and he just went, like he normally does, just stared straight ahead, like, he's an empty vessel, that's not going to cut it for the ad. He's going to need to go, oh, he's going to, like a surprise. You know what I mean? He's got to have some energy about it. It's acting. It's acting.
So you're saying it might stretch his emotional catalogue?
When I've seen him order at a Indian buffet, like the look in his eyes, they're going to want to capture that look.
Well, then that's method acting. You'd have to have a buffet at the shoot.
Well, that's what I would do if I was directing it, which I'd like to. I would bring in I would shoot it in a way where you can't see the buffet. Your buffet sometimes are on wheels, like you can wheel them, the hot trays.
Before COVID-19.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. And I would attach the sleep apnea mask, and I'd wheel the buffet in front of him, and he would look down and light up, and then I'd go, "Gotcha, thank you." "Oh, you sure you don't need another one for safety?" No, we've got everything we need.
Yeah, can I keep this one? No, that's just for the ad.
Can I keep this one?
You know what I mean? Like you get free merch.
Well, Strain would like to keep, yeah. He's the kind of guy who would like to keep shots of him in a sleep apnea mask.
Basically, I think, every ad is like, the idea is you're missing the one thing that will make everything perfect.
Right.
Like, it's always like, if you just get this insurance, everything will be utopian. Like all ads have that utopian vibe, eh?
Right. Yeah.
Whereas if you've got the person who actually needs the sleep apnea mask, like someone who's just made a series of poor choices, then the person that is like that, it's not going to look like that's the only thing they need.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
You could be like, they need so much more than that. The sleep apnea mask is just the first step.
Right. Yeah. You want your product to appear like the missing piece in an otherwise good life. You can't have Brian Strain. I remember he used to sleep in this. He had this apartment that had been flooded by sewer. This sewage. You can't have, oh, here he is sleeping in this sewer flooded apartment and his life's a mess and he's obviously, morbidly obese and so on.
And he's got sleep apnea.
You go, here's a chiseled guy, 6-pack, gets the women, life's great. But he's got this little problem with sleep apnea. Our product fills the void. Perfect.
Yeah, it's not like, it's like Joe Rogan doesn't use a sleep apnea mask,
No, and if he did, he'd be trying to sell it to you, I reckon.
Yeah.
This sleep apnea mask is is it's the best. It's made of silicone and
What was you said you saw one with, it had like stickers on it. You can make them, you can pimp them up,
you
pimp
can
them out.
yeah you can pimp them up.
Didn't you say your uncle had like a
I made that
Bronco?
up, but yeah, in a stand-up bit, I said that he had like Brisbane Broncos, his favorite football team stickers on his sleep apnea mask.
Yeah, I like when people pimp out like prophylactic and safety equipment.
Mm,
Like that's I guess that's big with the surgical mask too. They'll have like Spider-Man on it or something, like a skull.
yeah, yeah, it is weird to pimp out something so shocking. Not shocking is not the word, but you know.
But yeah, the sleep apnea mask, it's great.
America is obviously continuing its path down with the right of just general social unrest, and I kind of feel like America will actually the we were talking about the American collapse, how it's gradual. Um,
Yeah,
I think what will happen is because what you see now in Seattle is that autonomous zone. Have you seen that?
yeah. The left wing commune. It's like Woodford Folk Festival,
Yeah, it's
but like
it,
ongoing.
it's like Woodford Folk Festival in the middle of a city, and to protect the folk festival happening on the inside, they've got AR-15 fully automatic military rifles.
Right, so they are weaponized.
They are weaponized. Yeah,
I guess I didn't know that bit. I thought that they were like it was like a kumbaya type thing.
I
Like
think
it was
it always becomes less kumbaya when it's in a city centre and people are trying to go to.
right.
That's why Woodford Folk Festival's out in a forest. And everyone's like, yeah, man, go smoke your weed and like talk about the cosmos and shit, like in a forest. But when it's like next to Starbucks on your way to work, you need AR-15s to protect, Steve-O's drum circle.
Right, because yeah, you're being a massive disruption to the
Right.
to society. Yeah, yeah. I guess yeah, you can't kumbaya that forever.
So it's a far left thing that's trying to actually disrupt, like they want to actually end society and rebuild a new one.
Yeah,
It's a sort of common far left kind of trait. So I think America will actually break down into local warlords as social disunity continues, and there'll be left wing and right. There'll be far right warlords and far left warlords. Like this is a far left one, but there'll be other ones that open up in the Bible Belt that'll be far right.
and you'll have to pick a side.
Right.
Like like you might have to move if
Right.
you're in the like if your one turns into the one you're not into.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think like the far left is going to be like that one in Seattle is vegan. So you're going to have to eat vegan food. They'll be going on raids to protect and gather more coffee beans.
I think they'll have like like when people wear a wire
Yeah.
or whatever, like and like cops swoop in, like in those left wing communes, they'll have like you'll be talking to a friend and then you'll accidentally say something that's not like that's problematic or whatever, and then your best friend will reveal he's got a wire, and then like a bunch of people in like FBI type suits will come in and like just tackle you to the ground.
Right. So you're saying that you'll be sitting around the drum circle and you'll go you'll go, "Oh, look, there's Becky. Oh no, that's not Becky. That's Jane. Oh, oh, they look the same. Oh, why? Because they're Asian. They're both Asian. No, 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 no. I'm not saying that. And then it's like I'm wearing a wire, and then you have to go to the chieftain of the left wing warlord, like the top guy who's like got a beard, and he's like, or top woman, or top non-binary, gendered, or asexual, pansexual person thing, they whatever will be drinking coffee and like be wearing a Hessian sack or whatever and be like, punish you for your indiscretions.
Yeah, I guess it'll be some kind of penance or something, or just being ostracized from the community.
I think that's kind of happening now.
That is, yeah, that's
It's kind of the
it's
beginning.
but it does follow the Soviet Union system, like in that the higher up you are to the head of the far left warlord, the more likely you are to be toppled. You know that whole thing with like
Yeah.
in the communist system, like the higher up you are, the more likely you were to be like extinguished.
Yeah.
Like people in Stalin's like closest circle were the ones that were most scared.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah.
Whereas with Hitler, the people that were higher, like closest to Hitler, were the safest.
It's a really very interesting point. Yeah.
Like it wasn't like Goebbels was like, oh fuck, oh Hitler's gonna fuck me up because I'm so close to him.
Right.
Like he was
But-
like, this is sick. I'm in Hitler's inner circle. Like he's my best friend, and we're gonna do this together, kind of thing.
and what a friend. And what a friend.
No, but out
yeah.
frequent.
High maintenance, you reckon?
High maintenance friendship, but nonetheless like a solid friendship that just has like a lot of turbulence. But it's never going to end in like you being killed or whatever, because it's like one of those where they, where it's all good again.
Do you think that because I guess Stalin was more paranoid than Hitler in a way?
I reckon
Or-
Stalin smoked
or-
weed.
Yeah, right. You think he was
He's
smoking?
like, he's like, were you trying to overthrow me, dude? I just feel like the tone you used was a bit like you want to overthrow me, and I don't. Yeah, it's like, are you, like he's super paranoid to the point, but it's like if a stoner had like absolute power.
Yeah, yeah,
Sort of
yeah, yeah,
friend.
yeah. It's one of those things where like he would delete people from photos and shit, which is like, you know what I mean? He'd be like, that dude's. I feel like that dude's been talking about me. Like, it's like if
Yeah,
a stoner had ultimate power that they could just erase people.
yeah. It's like, did you start a WhatsApp group without me and the other guys, the other Aprachniks, the other Soviet Aprachniks? I just feel like you guys have a secret little group and you're talking about me and so on.
And they'd be like, no, Stalin, that's ridiculous. Of course we're not doing that. And then they just disappear and then they just get erased from all known history. They were never born. They were, what did he call them? No people.
Yeah, you just get disappeared. Like you
Mm.
don't even have a birth certificate anymore. Do you know what I mean? It's not like you're missing. It's like you weren't there. You just have to forget that they were ever there.
Which is kind of crazy for when it was like in the upper echelons when they were like, oh, the defense minister. Who? Oh, right.
Yeah. Like you could get killed for bringing him up and stuff. Like don't even talk about him.
Yeah, it's like when you dead name a trans person, which is when you mention their names when they were the previous gender. It's like a big faux pas. I
Right.
could
You're
imagine
dead.
in the left wing, like Warlord, that if you dead name someone, you would have to be killed.
Right. That's funny. Like you're like Rasputin. Remember Rasputin? It's like, whoa. You serious?
That's Lisa now. You can't dead name Lisa.
Yeah, Lisa's disappeared, man.
Rasputin. Where the fuck did you get that name?
Rasputin is some dude. Like I don't think he's like Soviet era, but I think he was like, uh, he was sort of.
Oi, Rathi.
Yeah.
You are. Oh, I lost you there for a second. What did you say?
Oh right. Oh, I think he was like a Russian wizard or something. Like,
Ah, it
yeah,
sounds like someone who would be in a left wing commune, Rasputin.
yeah. It wouldn't be his biological name. Like his name would be like Roger,
But he'd want to be
but then
called Rasputin.
Rasputin. I think also like in the Soviet model of of thinking as well, like a promotion is the most dangerous thing that can happen.
Right.
Like you'd get a promotion and be like, fuck, that means I'm more likely to be disappeared or whatever,
Right. Right.
which I
Um,
think you see now as well.
yeah. Yeah. Like the more famous a left wing, like say what's happening with Josh Thomas being cancelled. He's like so high up the left wing structure because he's an artist, he's gay, he's famous, he's outspoken for gay rights and against racism, and so the more likely he is to fall. Do you think that that's
Yeah.
something unique to left wing power structures versus right wing?
Well, I feel like in right wing power structures, they create like a wall of solidarity with all the right wing ragamuffins that they um it's almost like they have meetings where they hang out and like back each other and stuff.
Yeah, like they'll defend each other.
I would posit that there's less mental illness in the right wing demagogue community.
Right. Less
There's less
insecurity.
there's less right wingers on Prozac like going, fuck, I don't know. I don't know if Andrew Bolt likes me. You know what I mean? Like, is he gonna turn
Yeah,
on me?
yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not like Alan Jones and all those guys, they all fucking go to cocktail parties and like
Yeah,
it,
they're not going.
they're
My
not
article,
insecure.
my article in the Australian. I don't think the other right wingers are going to like it. The article about how political correctness has gone mad. What if it's not hard enough on political correctness? You know, they're not doing that, are they?
No, they're like, man, I saw your article. That was fucking sick. The way that you, I liked how you had lunch with Pell. That was cool.
Yeah, yeah. You had lunch with a convicted pedophile who was a priest. You know,
Yeah,
we all thought that was a bit of a laugh. But
yeah. Like they're not like, hey man, did you like? It's never like, oh, you went too far there. It's like a party. Do you know what I mean? It's
yeah,
like they're having an ongoing celebration of
no,
themselves.
I do think actually, in all seriousness, you are onto something there, and I think that right wing, far right people are more likely to defend and fight and support each other with the goal of supremacy, right? Whereas the left wing people, I think that at the core of it is the idea of morality. Like, as in, like, are you good enough? Like, are you fighting racism enough? Like, does that make you good? Are you fighting homophobia enough? Are you using the correct language and equality enough? Are you good enough as a person? Are you moral enough? And at the core of left-wing power structures is morality, even in the Soviet system of being a true Soviet for the people. Whereas at the core of a right-wing power structure is more like an actual authoritarian, more like a power structure in the true sense of a hierarchy that's rigidly protected and lives by rules and boundaries that and morals and codes that are sort of more solidified. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
yeah. I mean, yeah, I think that's true. I think like the Australian, for instance, is just it's like a men's shed for right wing ideologues. Like where you know those men's sheds where like
Yeah, there's
guys
a
in the
few good female right wingers in there too. That Jane, what's her name? Is it Jane Abernecht?
Al, Albrecht, Albrechtson,
Abrecht? Yeah.
Albrecht. Yeah, she
She's awesome. She's so funny. She
yeah.
just there's one article I read where she went into a
I didn't even a men's shed.
infiltrates left wing meetings and sits at the back, and like they
What
tried to
she
kick her out, but they didn't have the guts. She
to
was like,
kick?
I'm free to sit here. And she comments on that in the article. They tried to kick me out, but I said I'm allowed to sit here. It's a free country, this kind of thing. And they were like, oh, sorry, I just meant, you know, and she's like, what? I'm a woman. Can't I, you know, she kind of pulled that card on them. It was some like
Yeah,
left wing, like, we should remove like references to Western culture and universities kind of meeting.
Yeah, right.
And
Yeah,
they wanted
they
to
love.
kick her out, and she made it. She forced them to make her stay, to let her stay.
I mean, that's a big day
Yeah,
of conflict,
yeah,
and someone who's mentally ill can't withstand that level of contempt.
totally. So they let her stay.
Yeah,